Several years ago, I caught sight of a bumper sticker that made me laugh out loud. It said, "Where am I going and why am I in this handbasket?" Well, it's actually a good question to start our journey exploring the spiritual path of Jesus for 21st century men. But I would suggest that we not look at the handbasket carrying us, but the baskets that we each carry. You know, a number of years ago, it became popular to talk about the baggage that we all carry around. Well, the baggage represented all the things that happen to us over the course of a lifetime. All our experiences, relationships we've been in, jobs that we've had, so on and so forth. Well, I'd like to shift the metaphor slightly and suggest that there are 3 baskets that we each carry around with us that illustrate how it is that we develop as persons. If we're going to go on this spiritual journey of bettering ourselves and bettering the world around us, we need to take inventory of our souls and ourselves. So I'd suggest that we begin by looking at what is in our baskets. You'll notice that I have 3 baskets here. These 3 baskets represent 3 intersecting spheres in life: the personal sphere, the interpersonal sphere, and the social sphere. So let me illustrate how this works. So we don't emerge from our mother's wombs fully formed as persons. That happens through our contact with the world that we live in, the families in which we're raised, the friends we have, and our other encounters along the way. That is part of this formation as persons. We also experience the hurts and the traumas of life. So into our personal basket is put every word we hear, every experience we have, every caress that we get, and every blow that strikes us. We put language in that basket. That comes out of the social sphere. We get ideas from the social sphere. We experience violence. We experience ideas about loving one another, and so on. You get the idea. Sometimes those are placed there by families or teachers or friends from the interpersonal basket. Sometimes we get them straight out of the social basket. But all the contents of our personal basket shape who we are, because as we interact with our families, friends, others in the interpersonal sphere, we pull out of our personal basket things for interacting with them. And so it goes back and forth. Same is true for the social arena. We return to the social arena ideas that we consider important and want to reinforce, experiences that we have. But how is it that we are to act? What effect can our words have upon those around us? How will our actions affect society? Will we speak words that can heal or comfort, or wound and demean? Will we build each other up, or will we tear each other down? The work of the spiritual journey is to look at where we're going, determine where and who it is that we really want to be, and to see what needs to be done in order to get there. It means taking stock of just exactly what it is that we have in our personal baskets and being honest about what it is that we carry around with us. What do we need to discard from our baskets? What new habits or ways of talking do we need to cultivate? The first steps on a spiritual journey require this sort of spiritual inventory, as it were. The old-fashioned terminology is self-examination. This leads to confession, or telling it like it is within us, telling the truth about ourselves. Repentance, that old-fashioned word, is actually about deciding to set our journey on a different course and to discard the things that take us away from our goal of becoming the full persons that God intends us to be, or knows that we can become. So this is where the work of healing our past comes in. We have ways of behaving that are deeply ingrained that block us, trip us up. We don't do or say the things we ought to do or say, and we do or say the things we ought not to do or say. This is all the stuff that we find in our personal baskets. And there's stuff in there that we probably don't want to be there, and which does not serve us well, or serve God well for that matter. So taking the spiritual inventory of self-examination is the first step on the way to healing. We can't heal what we don't know that is there, or what we don't admit that we have, or even know that we have. Well, this is a place where actually counseling can help us identify those things from our past that have shaped us or left us left their card in our basket, so to speak. Remember, we don't pull anything out of our personal basket that wasn't put there before somehow. So all that's good and healthy and loving, kindly, gentle, conducive to our well-being, we want to leave in the basket. But things like grudges, resentment, uncontrolled anger, abusive behavior, demeaning words, injurious actions, we need to get rid of that. So this is actually the work of confession. In counseling or in spiritual direction, we name the behaviors we want to change, acknowledging how they got into our basket. And as we name it, we can engage in practices to remove it from our basket. But then we have to put something in its place. If we want to have better things in our basket to choose from, we have to be sure that it's put there. We do this by associating with people who support us on our spiritual journey, who show maturity of faith and behavior. It might mean changing the people with whom we associate, actually. Jesus tells this story. He said, when an evil spirit comes out of a man, it goes through arid places, seeking rest and does not find it. And it says, I will return to the house I left. When it arrives, it finds the house unoccupied, swept clean and put in order. Then it goes out and takes with it 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and they go and live in there. And the final conditions of that man is worse than the first. Well, this parable story is an example of how it is that simply doing a little internal housekeeping is not enough. We have to replace the things we want to get rid of with things that will take their place. So we replace bad behaviors with good, prejudices with open-heartedness, hurtful thoughts with thoughts that help and heal. We engage in acts of compassion because that is what Jesus did. And it works at that deep level of the soul. So, what is it that's in your basket? What needs to be tossed and what needs to be replaced? Pick up a copy of Detox, the spiritual path of Jesus for 21st century men, and find out how Jesus went about replacing the contents of the basket cases that were his disciples and followers. And join me in the next video, in which I answer a few questions about my book. See you then.